Everyone, myself Anjali Kaushik. I am assistant lecturer in Biyani Girls College. I welcome you on the behalf of GuruKPO.com, and I am presenting my topic on development of the stimulus through action potential. What actually the stimulus is? Changes in the environment of the cell. These changes in the environment in the cell due to the many reasons. This can be mechanical, this can be chemical, or this can be physiochemical. What it basically the action potential is? The action potential means the electrical response of a membrane to a level known as a threshold level. This electrical response is transmission of electric signals from one place to another place to the synaptic transmission. What is basically a threshold? Threshold is a minimum stimulus, a minimum level of the stimulus. When applied to the cell, it leads to generation of the electrical response known as action potential. Action potential divided into two types known as absolute refractive period and relative refractive period. These basically the absolute and relative refractive periods are based on the development of the stimulus from one time or the two time. The absolute refractive period is the stimulus which can given to the cell is up to the level that no other second level of the response enters into the cell. But the relative refractive period is when the cell having the initial response, it can lead to the second stimulus again to a latent period. The transmission is through basically this graph shows the action potential. First, on the base, when we know that the cell having the resting cell, all cell have the features of the resting potential, means no stimulus can affect the cell, no stimulus can affect the potential of the cell. But when on a stimulus, it gives to the all the cells is having minus 60 degree millivolt potential. When on below to the 60 means it can leads to the minus 75, minus 85 or minus 90. It leads to the hyperpolarization state. This A graph shows the hyperpolarization state, but this not lead to the intensity to the cell. But when on given the stimulus, it leads to the magnitude of the cell but not to the intensity. This minimum intensity is known as the threshold intensity, as we call it as a minimum stimulus. When on applying the more stimulus to the cell, it leads to the graph. This graph is known as the action potential. This action potential leads to the transmission of signals to the nerve. Thank you for watching this video. You can log on to www.gurukpro.com.